Hey, legal besties, and welcome to Ladies in Law. Today we have a special guest, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Modoline Altenor. I'm an attorney here in Central Florida, primarily located in Claremont. I am the founder and the owner of Law Office of Modoline Altenor.
Oh my gosh, what a badass title.
Thanks. I thought so.
I love it. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your journey to where you are today?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I am not shy to say that my journey involved rejection. My journey involved closed doors, judgment, and walking into spaces where no one looked like me. But my journey also taught me that I was being prepared and I was being built for something great, right? And so my career started off, my journey started off going to University of Florida undergrad. So I'm a Gator. And I am also a Seminole. I went to law school at Florida State University College of Law. So shout out to both. I could do the chomp and I could do. And thereafter, I landed an amazing job at one of the largest law firms in Central Florida. Loved my time there, operated at the top of the firm consistently. And right before I gave birth to my son, he was born. So right when he was born, about 2.5 months in, that gave birth to my law firm.
Wow, what a timeline.
It's crazy.
Did you always know you wanted to be an attorney? Was that something that you kind of always worked for? Where was that decision
No,
made?
no, that's such a great question. I'm rarely asked this because I talk so much. So it just feels fitted that I'm in this role. But I actually always wanted to be a pediatrician. I
Really?
truly love helping people, and that's why I love the role that I'm in because I can really feel my impact when I'm with my clients. It's more than just winning the case and, oh, I made all this money. Money is great, yes. My husband says I love to swipe. Um, but it's the impact for me. It's the touching of the heart where they trust me. So I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then going into school, I just realized I was just drawn to everything that wasn't related to medicine. High school, Academy of Health Careers, college, I was pre-law, debates, everything else. I just had a drastic change. So, yeah.
I think that's incredible because I think what we do as attorneys, and there are so many different realms and things you can go into in the law, but if you have in your heart that you just want to help people, I think that that makes some of the most incredible types of attorneys because I think we almost do our profession a disservice when we try and take the human aspect out of being an attorney. I feel deeply, and I think that that makes me such a better advocate for my clients. I don't think of that as a weakness.
No, it's your powerhouse, it's your strength, it's where it defines you and distinguishes you from the next. And I pride myself in that. We're a 5-star rated Google rated law firm for a reason. Our standards must meet what I would want for myself, for you, for my mom, for any client that comes to me. I'm going to tell you, I always say this to my clients, good or bad news, Modeline's going to tell you the truth. You may not like it, but you're going to be empowered to make these decisions alongside me, your attorney.
Oh my gosh, that is so refreshing to hear. And I love that because I think that that's like a big part of what we want to do and be as an attorney is an advocate and also like I want to inform you of your rights. I want you to be empowered by your rights, but I also want you to be realistic about how systems in place are working. And so I think I think that the judicial system could use a U-Haul in so many different ways. But I think that it's like smart to empower our clients to actually like understand the things that are
Yes.
going to impact them and their life.
Yeah. Proper expectations, then there's no surprises at the end. There's no, I'm upset. Everybody's happy because we knew along the way what this was going to look like. Whether it's a
Yes.
7-figure case, a 6-figure cake, or it's a couple $1,000s. We all know and we're on that same train together to the finish line.
Yes, exactly. So it's like a teamwork. We
Yeah,
just, like, and I also tell my clients too, where it's like, I want you to tell me everything because I would way rather be preemptive than reactive. Like this,
exactly. Love that.
so Right? So it's like it's kind of along the same lines of like as long as we are a team and we are being
Yeah,
open and honest with each other, like that's a
yeah,
two-way street. And I think that's how you build that rapport and that safe space for them to come to you and open up if you're doing the same thing to them about their
yeah.
case.
100%, 100%.
Okay, so you also said that you are a mother and you have your own law firm. And I think that so much of what we hear as women is that we have to kind of make a choice. You know, it would be very hard to have your own law firm. It would be very hard to be a present mom. It'd be hard to do all these things. And I think something that you do so incredibly well is you combat the myth of having to choose.
Yeah, it's such a myth.
And I would love to just kind of hear like what your
Yeah.
journey has been like with that and how you have been empowered to empower those around you to also not feel like they have to make a choice.
Yes, I love speaking to women, and it's in those private, still moments that aren't scheduled, that aren't over a coffee break, just in a hallway after an event. You're really tapping into souls. And gosh, it's like I'm just designed to like pull them up by the bootstraps, like, go get it, like, go, like, because yes, it's hard, of course, but it requires systems, it requires consistency, it requires discipline, it requires choosing you and what you're building and your family, and they can all cohabitate together with the right systems, the right team, right? If you don't have the right team and people that you trust, it's all for none. But yes, I'm a mom. I have two little ones. I have a six, my little Modoline Elizabeth. She's definitely mini me. OMG. Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
I'm glad her name is all over the walls already. We have the same name. Oh my goodness. And then my son, he's a junior, so he carries my husband's name, Evans Jr. And I always say giving birth to him gave birth to my law firm because in truth, that's what happened within 90 days of his arrival. I made a choice. I walked away from what was comfortable for me, a consistent paycheck. I was making great money. They had just announced I made number two in a large law firm. I mean, I was rocking. I had a great office, glass everything. I was gunning for partnership. There was no reason why not.
Mhm.
Um, so it was very difficult when I saw my little bundle lay next to me and I knew the clock was ticking for me to go back. I had to say, oh my gosh, how do I operate at the top of this firm the way that I did for so long and be his mom? And so I chose what was aligned for me, right? And I chose what was my purpose. And my purpose was, and I said that to my boss too. I was like, it's not a coup. I'm not leaving you, but it's I'm going to be using my license, but the way that I see fit. Yeah. So I'm gonna be a mom. I'm gonna be at the doctor appointments. I'm not missing a coup. I'm not missing his first tooth. I'm not missing it. But I will also be an amazing attorney, and I have been thankfully able to live up to both. I love my children so much, and they have spent many days in my office in a Greco, in a little playpen. They have taken naps. They've had apple juice boxes. They've waddled around, and we have still made it our priority to deliver top results and be a successful firm. And I have been very happy being a mother at the same time. So
That's
you don't have to
amazing.
choose between ambition and motherhood and success and sanity and being a wife and going after your dreams and your goals. They all can be attained. It can
Yeah.
be this beautiful package with a pink, red, purple bow, whatever the color you choose. You just have to be very disciplined and be very aware of what it is you want and then make it happen.
Yeah. I think that something that like I admire so much about you is the visibility that you give to the struggle. Because I think so often we are quick, especially on social media or what you're putting out in the world, to just like say, like, look at what I have, look at what I've
Yeah.
built. But we don't
Yeah.
talk about the struggle that it takes to get there. And I think that that can feel so lonely for other people who see the
Mhm.
success to think
Mhm.
like, God, like, why am I the one that's like struggling right now? You
Yeah.
know, because you
Yeah.
see the end result, but you are
Yeah.
so vulnerable in sharing that it took so much to get there and it
Yeah.
was different sacrifices and different difficulties and I mean I think it's impossible to not make choices along the way, but it doesn't mean
Oh
you
yeah.
have to sacrifice things. They can
No.
coexist.
Yeah, they can coexist. And I have so many memories. Oh my goodness. You know, my early days in opening up my law firm, we many a time took our little guy, he was like this big, and we had to throw him in the car seat, all the toys, all this, whatever we could do. And it was like, we got to go to Davenport, you know, we got to go to the heart of Florida, we got to make it to Sebring, and you've got to come with, like, diaper bags, everything, little toys. You know, I'm running into Texas Roadhouse. I'm signing up a client at a restaurant. I'm signing up a client in the lobby at a hospital because that's where we can meet. Like, but here's the big thing, right? When I speak to team, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my biggest team player. Yeah, I didn't do it
Mhm.
alone. That's the truth of it. It's my little secret, but it's visible. It's my husband, right?
Mhm.
He pushed my career all over. If he did not anchor me, if he did not drive while I was in the back seat, nursing, pumping, taking care of my son, and then running out and jumping into the doctor's office in Texas Roadhouse and wherever else, and hey, hold Evans Jr. I'll be right back. I'll be done in like
Mhm.
35 minutes. It wouldn't work. And that's what the behind the scenes look like. You know, beyond the billboards and the radio ads and the big offices and the red Louboutins and all of that, there's
Mhm.
that struggle of the baby in the car with his mom building something. That's the story.
Yeah. And I think that you give that visibility to make people not feel as alone in that chapter. And I
Yeah.
think that that is one thing that like can be so helpful to be like, okay, there is an end in sight. There is that light at the end of the tunnel. Like I can keep going because I'm not
Yeah.
alone in this. And so just
Yeah.
thank you for that kind of visibility that you give because I think it's so important and sadly rare.
Agreed. I mean, social media has us thinking that it's all bejewels and diamonds and look at me and strike a pose. And no, it's not. It's not, especially when motherhood and being a wife and maintaining a household and a business and clients, you know, you turn into the doctor, the lawyer, the accountant, the psychologist, you turn into all these different things. But I think what keeps me present, what keeps me going is I did have that power to choose. I did create what I'm building. This was for me. This is what I wanted. And I'm happy to fight for what I wanted, for what I chose. And I'm building this legacy that I can say, well, Modoline Elizabeth, if you want to move in, the name is already here.
And what like a beautiful example you're setting for your children too, though, you know? Because I think that like they get to see what that grit and that determination looks like firsthand.
Yes,
You know, like
yes,
you show up for them and for individuals that need you, and they get a front row seat to seeing that. And I think that
yes.
that's so special too for them to get to, you know, bear witness to what you've put into it.
100%. They both slept here. They both had their baby days. I've got so much many videos of me like holding a baby that's like, and I'm like checking a demand, and they're like, and they're snuggled in a blanket. I'm like, oh, if you only knew, if you only knew. But it's okay. We're gonna make it happen one way or another. We shall make it.
Yeah, and you did, and you
Yeah.
are, and you
Yes.
continue
Yes.
to.
Thank you. We're celebrating 10 years this July.
Oh
So
my gosh!
yeah, it's
Congratulations! 10
thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean,
years! That's
10
incredible!
years. Yeah. So last week my son turned 10, and in
Wow.
July my firm turns 10.
Those milestones are incredible. I get saying you gave birth to both, you know?
Yes.
Like, that
Yes,
is
there it
that
is.
makes sense, and that's so special.
Thank you. Thank you. It's gonna be a moment for sure. For sure. It's gonna be a
Good, you
moment
deserve
full of happiness and tears and maybe some, what were you thinking? Are you okay?
it. Do you ever do that where it's like, if 10 years ago me could see me today, like, what would you tell
Yeah.
her? What would you tell 10 years ago you?
Oh my gosh. You're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna question why. You're gonna walk into spaces where you're the only one that looks like you. And you have to remember not to shrink, not to cower, and to remember your why. Why did you do this? And push forward. Stay disciplined, stay kind, stay humbled, stay grounded, stay focused on the goal at hand. Your why will carry you through. Being rejected is okay. It's preparing you for what you're building. So just take it on the chin. Now, side note, I don't take rejection well.
I get it.
I don't take losses well. I can't lose. I still have to call my mom. Like, it's not okay.
We're human.
I still have to get the pep talk of her saying, well, Modoline, not everybody can win. And I'm like, whoa, that's just not going to work. I'm going to call you back.
I'm not everybody, okay?
Not everybody. Let me figure this out. We're going to turn this L into a W. And I'll call you back. I'm going to figure it out.
Hindsight is a beautiful thing, honestly.
It's my flaw.
I so get it. I think that that's real. Like, no, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel great in the moment. It's not like I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah,
No, you feel it. You're human. And then
Yeah.
hindsight, where it's like you see, okay, you know what? That was actually just redirection, and I love where I'm at right now. But you
Yes.
can hold space for both.
Yes, you can hold space for both. It's really finding that lesson that's written into it and learning from that. There's a lot of lessons in falling down. Probably the greatest lessons are in falling down. If it was handed to you, was easy for you, I mean, dare I say, it's kind of boring too. I mean, there's nowhere to go from there. You're already there, and you really don't have the war rooms and the badges of honor and the stretch marks and all the things that come with this glorious moment of I have arrived.
Yeah.
Like Rocky Balboa at the top of Adrian.
Yes.
Adrian, I made it. Okay. I am very much Rocky.
Yes, yes. And I think that there's so much more relatability with that,
Yeah.
for your clients and for the groups of people that you speak for and that you inspire. Like there's so much more that I can relate to in that than being handed things. And so I think giving space to that is really important too, because it just makes
Yes.
people also feel empowered that they can also rise to the occasion,
100%. 100%. The truth of the matter is, it's not going to be easy. It's okay to doubt yourself. It's okay to have these moments alone where you're like, what am I doing and why am I doing it? But then when you get to the why am I doing it, you're back into focus, right? The lens is back on. It's on you. You're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that is I like to talk about on this podcast and why I like to have just women in power on here, is that we are in a very heavily male dominated field, but I also think that we're in a very heavily white space.
Yes.
And so the intersectionality of race and of sex, I just wanted to hear kind of I am sure that there have been moments where you have felt silenced or looked over. How have you combated that? And what do you wish that the profession as a whole could do better?
Well, they can, I think, definitely do better in creating small spaces, not large spaces where you are one in a million in a conference room, at a convention center. Creating pods for women, local chapters, that they have a space to sit at the table, to voice their concerns, to lean on a fellow colleague that is also a woman in the profession, whether she looks at her or not. Our plights are the same and they're aligned. When I do walk into those rooms where I am the only female, pre-COVID, that was a lot. Mediation, going in there is nothing but the men. You walk in, you're like, hi, no, stop that at the door. We can't be that sweet. Show up with the exhibits. And the biggest thing is to stay prepared. Be prepared. Stay read up, studied up, focused, and be very aware of what you're looking for at the end of it all, so that all of that just becomes noise. It fades away. You could care less, right? Because you have the power of voice. That's why we're lawyers. We have the power to speak up for those that cannot speak, where their voices disappear in that large convention room where there's 1,000+ people. Yours is heard, right? That's what legal advocacy gives us. It gives those tools and that groundwork, that structure, so we know how to speak up. We're not loud, but we know how to make that impact with the words that we use and how we use them. The placement and choice of words have so much weight. You don't need a microphone to be heard. And that's the beauty of language. That's the beauty of connectivity. That's the beauty of storytelling and true advocacy for your client. I'm about to speak and my words are about to carry a lot of weight. And I want you to feel like it's an elephant on your back and you want me out. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut me a check.
Amen.
I'm
Yeah.
going to leave.
God,
We're going to win for my client. That's what we're going to do.
yeah, I could not resonate more with what you were saying. I think that the world would just be a much better place if people understood that your words have weight
So
and that it
much.
takes a second more of just intentionality
Yeah.
in the language that we are using, in the words
Yeah.
that we choose to use. I
Yes.
think that if we just paused and intentionally curated what we're about to say in a way that can be received in a positive light, or if you just want to survey the room and make sure that you were speaking in the most inclusive way, it is not hard.
Yes.
It
It's
isn't.
not hard. It's literally, as you said, a pause. A pause for thought,
Mm-hmm.
right? A pause for
Yeah.
thought. And yeah, and dare I say that's kind of part of your job. A
Yeah.
pause for thought. Don't just speak. Who
Yeah. Thinking before you speak. Who knew it was a wild concept?
knew?
Who
Something
knew?
we learned in childhood days. Like, no, it still matters in the adult space. Um,
Promise.
Yeah, but for us women, where we do walk into the rooms and we're the only female, that happens all the time, or we might be the only one of color, that happens
Mhm.
all the time, and they might have, some passive aggressive ways of trying to kind of get you to get out of your aligned purpose for being there and start reading into to whatever they're trying to pitch at your way. You're not
Mhm.
there to have this emotional impact. You're not there to be emotional. You're there to do your job. And I always say that. So I had a job once. So I'm a former adjuster as well. And I had
Okay.
my boss, yeah, I worked for Nationwide Insurance as an adjuster, a casualty adjuster. So injury has always been my thing. Personal injury has always been my thing. And she was like, what did she call me? Not a chameleon, like maybe like a joker. I forget what the word was, but it was like no one can tell like how you feel about certain things. And I'm like, my response was, I'm not here for you guys to study my emotional reactions, whether you said something good or bad. I'm here to do a good job and then go home and then tell my husband what you did.
Yes.
That's what the bathroom breaks are for. I'm calling and I'm going off. But in the workplace, you will never know. I'm the joker. You just have no idea what's going on with me. And
That's
so,
hilarious.
yeah, it's a safe space. When you go into those spaces and it's just you, don't dare shrink, and never be confused about your worth, about your value. That
Mm.
is never to be confused. And once you're aware of your value, your worth, your why, the
Yeah.
room could have been filled with all kinds of stuff and it doesn't matter anymore because you're
Yeah.
on a mission. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that you feel like you've always had kind of like ingrained in you, or is that something that you developed over time?
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like I feel like my husband would probably answer this with me and he would say, "No, you've always been like this." You know? And I pray that I instill the same in my children because the truth of it all is this world isn't a nice place. There's parts that are nice and it's great and it's fun and it's like running through daffodils and lilies. Then the reality is there's a lot of times the rooms are not your friends, the people that are in the rooms are not, and you still have a mission and you can't cower, you can't shrink. I almost want to say that, yeah, this has been rooted in me for quite a long time. And I think it's my mom. My dad's great, but my mom, I feel like I have studied her just like my daughter studies me. And she's pretty strong. So, yeah, I get it from her because it doesn't matter what's going on. She will always smile. She always make you feel like you're amazing. And it's only when she gets home you really know how she feels about something. So I think I got it.
I
I
love
get it
that.
from
I
her for
think
sure.
we love strong women. I
Yes.
think that like what's really cool about everything that you say is like being rooted and in that alignment with your purpose. And I
Hmm.
think at different chapters of life, maybe our purpose can evolve and adapt. But if we
Yeah.
always just kind of take that second to step back and like remind ourselves of our why, remind ourselves of our purpose, and have
Yeah.
that kind of be your guiding force, that
Yeah.
helps just kind of stay on track, that helps you stay consistent and in alignment with like who you want to be, the kind of advocate you want to be, the mother you want to be, the partner you want to be. It just
Yeah.
helps you kind of just be reminded of like your why.
Exactly. And that's the most powerful thing, you know. I tell my husband this. I was like, you know, when I'm on my last day and I'm on my deathbed, I want to say I lived my life. I lived the
Mm.
heck out of that life. I did what I was sent to do, and now I may rest. You know, I
Yeah.
I will say this too. I say this a lot in my speaking engagements, don't just take up space. That's what oxygen is for. Create an impact, know your why, know your purpose, and then execute. Stop dreaming and wondering and, oh, I have this idea and it's living in the notes in our app on our iPhone. Take that out and let's start breaking it apart and let's checking it off and let's start getting it done. It's all about pushing that needle. It's saying, okay, listen, it's Q2. By Q1 of the following year, I need you to open up your office. I need to see a sign. I need to see that you've started. The printer is there. The case management software has been built in. You've already hired marketing. Like, I'm gonna give you some time. But by Q1 of next year, you are seated and you are open, right? And for
Yes.
me, when I'm able to uplift and inspire women to take such trajectories and empower themselves in such spaces, I get the greatest joy. To me, that's so much validation of me doing what I'm supposed to do, not just taking up space.
Yeah. I think that's incredible because I think it is kind of like easy to almost be like a passive character in your life, where
Yeah.
you're just kind of going through and things are happening around you. And it's like, no, I always want to have the mentality of being an active participant in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yes,
that's so
I love
riddled in what
that.
you're saying is
Yes,
you're an
I
active
love
participant.
that. Yes, active participant in my life. Absolutely. There should
Yeah.
always be a to-do list and there should always be lines going through the list, and
Yes.
that's living. And we're never done learning. We're never done growing, and we're never done mentoring. We're never done giving back as advocates, as lawyers. We're just not. That's
Yeah.
that's the journey we've taken. That's the name on our badge. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And just, I want to thank you too for the way that you use your platform and for the way that you use your speaking engagements and the way that you show up for so many different communities. Because I think it's one thing to like, to get to where you have, like, to get to where you are and you are badass, but you don't just like, you don't live in it, alone. Like you
Yeah.
share it, you share your
Yes.
knowledge, you share your journey, you share every bit of how you got there and you
Yes.
inspire other people. And I think that that you don't have to do that, but you choose to, and you spend the time and the energy and the effort in uplifting others. And I just want to
Yeah.
thank you for the work you do because
Thank
it's
you.
important and needed.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. And it's truly something I truly love to do to the depths of my heart. When I see one of us win, I feel like I won too. I'm truly like your hype woman, your cheerleader that you wish you knew from forever ago. You would think I'm cheering for you as if I just won the lottery. Like, why are you so happy? Has nothing to do
Like
with
the best
you.
person to have in your village, like that's amazing. Like I think like that's so refreshing. Like people deserve to be celebrated, and
People
I love
deserve
that
that.
you do that.
Yeah, people deserve that. And you know what? I didn't lose a dollar for doing that. I really
Mm.
didn't. If anything, it's filled my heart and my space with joy, and it makes my space feel safe for others to come in. And then there's enough space for us all to grow and to celebrate one another. We don't need to battle it out. That's a myth.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
myth. We do not need to battle it out. We can all win together. No one wants to get to the top of the mountain and then just sit there like, okay, now what do I do? You know what I mean? You don't want to be up there by yourself. So
right.
when we're all winning together and we're all taking that journey together, it's just so much more meaningful. It's more meaningful. And those are moments in life that will last you a lifetime. And that's what I'm here to create. Those building my legacy and the moments that will last a lifetime.
And you're doing it. And
Thank
we are
you.
better for it. So thank
We
you.
are better for it. We are.
So something that I'm also doing this season, and I know I've already asked you about 10 years ago, but I like to also ask, as kind of just like the parting question, because I think just this kind of level of reflection is so important. But if you could go back to little you, kid you, and give her one piece of advice, what would it be?
Ooh, stay disciplined, stay curious,
Mm,
stay humbled. Humility goes a very, very long way. Accept rejection, knowing that it's to prepare you for what you will soon build, something that will help others and create an impact. Stay the course, stay the journey, stay faithful.
no, I love that. Little me could have used that too. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for being here and for sharing your knowledge, and just for being a guest on this podcast. I feel honored
Oh,
to have
thank you
you.
for having me. I've had an amazing time. Thank you so much. This was so
Of
great.
course. Yay. Oh, and can you tell us where people can find you on social media
Oh,
or your
yeah.
website?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. It's my first and last name, Modoline Altenor _ESQ. I'm going to be the one in a pink suit. And also, we have our law firm page on Facebook, Law Office of Modoline Altenor. So those are the two best places.
Amazing. And we'll drop it in so people can see it too.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Of course. Thank you. Me too. And I will see you all next time. Bye.